Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. It is the 15th of October. Tick, 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 tick until the election, the financial crash, you name it. It could happen any moment. I would rather it happen before the election, but, I really don't get a say. Very interesting stuff has been going on in the woo-woo world, which I want to talk about quickly as it relates to silver. But first, I had a chat with Dave at X22 Report. If you guys haven't seen it, I have posted that on the public road at roadtoruta.com. Right at the top there. Go check it out. We get down and dirty about what's about to happen and when. Obviously, the 3-day weekend, we didn't see the banks close. We didn't see it. It didn't mean it didn't happen. But yeah, every bank out there is teetering right now, and they just won't talk about it because there is a planned date for all this stuff. I don't know what that date is, but we did get it close to what they were talking about in the latest future forecasting group remote viewing of silver. So let me get to that in a second. So go check that out. Also check out the private road. I posted 2 over the weekend. One was the Jenny Moonstone discussion, deep state operations and silver as money being protected. Really interesting angle there. And then I had a great talk with Will Lair over perpetual assets. If you guys don't have your assets protected yet, especially in your like retirement accounts, contact Will, perpetualassets.com. Check out the latest discussion on the private road. I also published the first part of that on the YouTube channel, and then we talked about things you can't talk about on YouTube. Shh, don't tell anybody. Silver's looking strong. It's stuck in a pattern because they won't let it go above 3250 for technical reasons, and they won't let it go below the moving averages, which are currently at, let's take a look at the 1 year. The 200-day is at 27.59, and the 100-day is at 29.72. These are the demarcation lines of when India and China buy. They don't buy much at all until it goes below these lines, and when they do, they load up on physical silver only. That's all they care about, physical silver. They know everything else is an absolute ridiculous joke. The price is an absolute ridiculous joke. The whole world is learning about this. If you haven't taken action yet, I beg of you, go to your local silver shop, gold and silver shop, buy all your silver you can. Physical silver in your own possession. If you have gold, swap it for as many ounces of silver as you can get. I think the gold-silver ratio is above 80 still. It's the most ridiculous thing. If you believe in what the deep state has done all these years, if you believe in what the banking cabal has done all these years, then you believe that the prices are correct. If you believe that they've been doing things on the sly, lying, cheating, and stealing, then swap your gold for silver. You'll get plenty of gold in the future, trust me. There's so much gold out there, it is ridiculous. 10 times what they're telling you. You'll learn it. Over time, you'll learn it. I think when we do have this next collapse, a lot of secrets will be revealed. And some of those secrets, a lot of them revolve around how much gold the United States really does have, because it's not 8,000 tons. I guarantee you it's not 8,000 tons. It is probably over 1 million tons. Oh, how could you say that, Bix? All my GATA friends are going, what are you talking about, Bix? Don't you dare say that. They've been saying that to me for over 10 years. It's just true. Do the homework. Do the research. Read Gold Warriors by Sterling and Peggy Seagrave. Look at all the documentation they have. Read all my research on the Grand Canyon gold. Billions of ounces in the sand and placer gold. And there's some woo-woo stuff that I'll be talking about with Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic very soon. Excited about that conversation. But yeah, definitely, if you don't have a local guy that you trust, contact Andy Scheckman at Miles Franklin. Send him an email. Info at milesfranklin.com, milesfranklin.com. Ask them what they got in inventory. Tell them you're from Road to Ruta so you get the best price out there, and then wire them some money and they'll send it right to your front door via UPS or Express Mail. I think they use UPS. now is not the time to wait. Don't sit on your hands. I know a lot of people, I don't have any money left to buy. I would buy more, but I don't have any money left. That's okay. Sit on the sidelines, watch, check your cushions, your couch cushions for coins, and then go swap them. Empty your change and go get silver coins. Pre-65 is my favorite. If you live in the United States, pre-65 coinage. Try to stick with your local currencies because I do think there will be a separation between silver used as money and silver used in the industrial side. And silver used as money will, by definition, have to be more valuable than silver used in industrial. It absolutely has to be. Otherwise, you just melt all the silver and use it in industrial, right? So bars, yeah, that's fine. How big will that difference be? I think it'll be pretty big. You know, when the United States, when the financial system blows, the bank derivative bubble goes off, and all of a sudden every bank is bankrupt. There is nothing available. Each country is going to have to decide what they want to use as money. A lot are going to go to cryptos. There'll be the deep state and the financial people will be saying, oh, yes, let's have the BIS in charge of this and the World Bank in charge of this and the Treasury and the Fed. None of those people will be believed. I'm sorry, Rothschilds and Rockefellers. You'll be lucky to survive this transition, much less be the deciders of our new system. They're not going to be. So in the United States, we have something on the books already. It's called the Constitution, and gold and silver as money. So that's what we will probably turn to. Do I think that we will use cryptos in the United States as well? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the United States has the 1 million Bitcoin that Satoshi secretly cornered it away. I have my theory on who Satoshi is. And it wasn't just one person, mind you. Satoshi figured out a good problem and holds the Bitcoin. But the evolution of electronic money goes back to John Kemeny, the guy who invented basic computing in the 60s. And then it went to Alan Greenspan, the guy who invented computer banking in the early 70s and continued on, you know the rest, at the Fed. And then it went to Steve Jobs, the guy who put the computer in your hand with the iPhone. And then it went to Satoshi. I do think I know who he is. I've talked about it. It's funny because I've read so many of this guy's papers and nobody talks about him. Because he's not, he's just not talked about. A couple of guys have talked about him. But go to roadtoroot.com and I got all that information there if you're interested in it. And it's more than likely that the U.S. government is absolutely involved. The NSA was involved because it is such a big deal. I bet you Greenspan was involved in actual formation of this plan. But I do think we are going to a gold and silver standard. A guy named David Ryder, who ran the U.S. Mint, was very key in developing a way to identify every single silver coin out there and gold coin through the crystalline structure, believe it or not, of the coin. He worked for the U.S. Mint. He went to Honeywell, brought his technology there. Honeywell refined it. Now they have readers that can read the coin. You know the little notch in the bottom? No, they're not going to put diamond dust in there like the remote viewing guy said. That was one of the ideas, but no, it's just it's a positioner. It's to go in the machine. It'll position the coin based on the little notch, and then the scanner will scan the coin and look at the crystalline structure. It's like a microscope going in there. Every coin is different, believe it or not. Every single silver eagle is different. And it's not because they stamped the date on it, because you can look at a piece of metal at a high enough magnitude scanner and determine, okay, this is this exact coin. And then if you attach a blockchain number, for example, to it, you can actually use it, keep it at the U.S. Mint, but sell little pieces of your silver coin through the blockchain. And all this was far down the road when the election was stolen from Trump. Then they got rid of David Ryder, put in a woman named Ventures Gibson. Ventures Gibson runs the U.S. Mint now, and they can't make a silver eagle it's just sad and embarrassing. But diversity and equity has just never been stronger at the U.S. Mint. Listen to my 3-part discussion with the head of Silver Eagle Sales. Yeah, it's right. The front page at roadtoruta.com, and you'll understand what's going on. Looks like the U.S. Mint is tapering off on their 1,700,000 coins is all demand. They're supposed to make coins to meet demand. They are not. They are purposefully not. As Jack Sermon, the head of Silver Eagle sales at the U.S. Mint, he hasn't called me back in a long time, so I think he's gone now. He was in his 70s at the time, and he was just trying to help him out, and they probably fired him for trying to help out the United States of America. Welcome to the Biden administration, the cabal administration, the deep state administration. Anyway, yeah, really interesting. And if you want to see what happened, the games that were being played, and I've said for a long time, the COMEX is a futures and options exchange. We all know that. It's got very little to do with physical silver. 500 million ounces trade every day on the COMEX, anywhere from 300 million to 500 million. And sometimes over 2 billion ounces will trade on the COMEX, which is ridiculous if they're only mining 800 million per year. So that's what determines price. Okay? I've been screaming, hey, they also play derivatives off that. The U.S. government is naked shorting derivatives to keep the price suppressed. And you can see it in right here. The financial derivative instruments used by the U.S. Mint. And I've been tracking this for years on my chart right here of Silver Eagles. So the U.S. Mint, the U.S. government, they run a fiscal year till September 31st. So October 1st is the beginning of the next fiscal year, and it runs to September 31st. And that's what they count as their fiscal year. And so the annual report shows that, not the amount of eagles produced with a certain date on it. So I keep track of both. This year, the 2024 fiscal year ended at the end of September. And the U.S. Mint did 26,937,000 silver eagles. More than they've done in the last 2 years. Mind you, that's because we've all been screaming about it. But at the same time, the actual demand is probably north of 40 million coins. I talked to Jack Sermon. He told his bosses it was north of 35 million coins, or 32 or 35. And they said, well, how much can you make what's the minimum we can make and not cause a ruckus? That's what his bosses told him. And he only had, I would guess, one boss, Ventris Gibson. So, yeah, that's what we're dealing with when we're fighting the criminals at the U.S. Mint. But I did want to call your attention for the fiscal year 2021, the year that, Rustam Binham, the head of the CFTC, said, we have to tamp down the price of silver because it almost hit $30. In 2021, that's exactly what he said. It was the structure of the market was able to tamp down the price. That is completely illegal in commodity law. He admitted it. And there's been many heads of the CFTC who have admitted that they used the futures and options to control prices, which is completely illegal. But he was the latest one to say it, and he just, oops, I shouldn't have said that. But here's that year, the price of silver went down $1 over the average overall, $1.18. When the price of silver goes down and you're legitimately hedging your silver, so every time you take in physical silver, you add a short contract so you're not subject to the volatility of silver. That's exactly what the Mint says it does, which would be legit. But the problem that year is they didn't close out the hedge. They couldn't because the price would have gone higher. So they told the Mint, you take the hit. You, the American taxpayer, take the hit for the silver shorts that would be destroyed if silver went over $30. And that's exactly what we see right here. In 2021, the price of silver went down, so the hedge should have made money. It did not. It lost $111 million, the biggest loss ever in the history of the hedging program in a year that it should have made money. And then since then, it's been they're trying to get out of this mess, but they really aren't doing a good job. So let me show you where you can find all this on the financial, the annual reports of the U.S. Mint. Here we have 2019. We have the Mint had net gains of 11 million on its silver forward contract in 2019 compared to gains of 23 million in 2018. Okay, fine. And all of a sudden they changed the language. Biden gets in 2020, and they change the language. The Mint recorded net losses of $72 million on its forward contract for fiscal year 2020 compared to net gains of $11.8 million in 2019. Located in gross cost in the statement of net cost at September 30th, 2020 and 19, the margin call transactions with the broker were net payments of $90 million and $5 million respectively. What? Why is the U.S. Mint getting margin calls? Meaning, hey, you got to put up more money because you don't have enough money to deal with your own book. If the U.S. Mint is doing what they're saying they're doing, they're taking out a short position when they buy silver and they're buying it back when they sell the silver, it should be a smooth, even month. There should be no margin calls. But starting in 2020, when Biden got in and Ventures Gibson was put as the head, that's exactly what started happening. So that's 2020, 2021, right here. The Mint recorded net losses of $111 million on silver forward contracts compared to net losses of $72 million. This is the Biden administration. Ventures Gibson. At September 31st, 2021 and 2020, the margin call transactions with the broker were net receipts of $75 million. Margin call transactions. Why is the U.S. Mint getting margin calls? If they are properly running their book, they shouldn't have margin calls. They shouldn't be playing the market. They should be taking in physical silver when they buy it and putting on shorts. When they sell the silver, they should be taking off those shorts by buying back the contracts immediately. On a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, they report weekly, so they're supposed to report every day. They don't do that either. It's like they have their own law over there at the U.S. Mint. They get to do whatever the frick they want to do. Anyway, what does it all mean, Bix? It means buy as much silver as you can get your hands on, because this game is ending very fast, very soon. And then the latest, the 2022 is the margin call transactions with the broker net receipts of $85 million compared to $75 million. Oh, they did $5 million less, $10 million less. And then finally, this year in 2023, it got down to $5 million. So is it over? I don't know. Truthfully, the U.S. Mint has been destroyed. It is no longer produces the number one coin in the world, which was the Silver Eagle. Now I think it's the Maple Leaf. The Canadian Maple Leaf has blown away the Silver Eagle program. Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you, Ventures Gibson. And the big problem is, if we have to go back to a gold and silver standard, we have to look towards the U.S. Mint as the sound institution. And they completely destroyed it. These people should be tried for treason. Treason. In my opinion. And they did it all on the sly. If they told us they were having problems, oh, we need to do this, that would have been fine. They didn't. They illegally did it under their breath, tried to cover it up with fake financial reports. You should all be pissed. Anyway, the reason this is coming to mind is the guys over at Future Forecasting Group, Dick Allgaier and the gang, did a target for silver, 2044 to 2026. And truthfully, I mean, I know silver like the back of my hand. These guys don't at all. Like, not at all. And that's probably good for a remote viewer, but it's not good when you're doing the analysis of what the remote viewer saw. And they got it all wrong. I mean, the remote viewing was amazing. They even had the manufacturing of the coins into, reading the coins and putting it on the blockchain. They had all that. They couldn't analyze it because they didn't know anything about silver. That was the problem. But the raw data is amazing. And it really does map out the future of silver. So on Private Road, I'm going to go through it and tell you guys exactly what they really found. I love those guys, but sometimes the analysis, they're remote viewers. They're not experts in silver. They don't know what's going on behind the scenes in silver at all. Most of them didn't even know what silver was. Is it an industrial metal? It's silly. But at the same time, the data was amazing. Absolutely amazing. If you want to know the future of silver from 2024 to 2026, it was in the data that they had. And I'll help you guys walk you through it. I need to get approval from Dick and those guys, and they might not want to do it. I don't know. But everything lines up with the Road to Ruta in that reading. So there you go for your remote viewers. Very exciting stuff. So yeah, I do think we're in the last days of this game. It's been one of the things they got. It's been a 50-year plan. This is a planned thing. There is another economy below what we see. It has to do with, we've heard about the tunneling all over the United States. A lot of tunnels. Well, they find a lot of stuff when they're tunneling all over the United States. Obviously, they're going to find gold and silver and all kinds of things, right? So where did that all go? Where does all this phantom silver come from? Where did the 3 billion ounces that went into the calutrons to make the atomic first atomic bomb? I analyzed that long ago, and that came back into the market. You can track this stuff. It's not, if you dig deep enough, you can find the answers. It's whatever it is. It's not what Jeff Christian says. It's not what the Silver Institute says. It's not what Metals Focus says. They are paid shills of the deep state, posing as industry experts. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. Lots going on in solar. They're blowing out the numbers again. I knew it long ago. I've been screaming about it for 2 years. I'm going to go down that path this week as well. You guys have a good week. If you want to join the Road to Ruta, we're still giving away, at least right now, still giving away Theta Fuel, and T-Drop with every private road subscription. Go check it out at roadtoruta.com and click on subscribe today. And if you want to find out how to buy cryptos, go to our affiliates. We got 2 ways to buy cryptos. You got Will at perpetualassets.com, and we got Caleb and Brown. They can do Theta and Theta Fuel. And then we got Miles Franklin. Just go to our affiliates, click on it, and you'll see discussions about how it's done and all that. Go check it out. This is Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. I'll talk to you later.